Hello, ladies. This is Dr. Michelle S. Thomas, and I am coming to you via video because life happens. What better way to present to you ladies at the Journey Share event than to talk about how life sometimes interrupts our plan? I first want to thank Dr. Alethea for coming up with this concept because far too many times we go silently and alone into our struggles because we believe that we're the only one. And so the longer that we sit in that space, the more that our mind conditions us that that is where we remain. So the whole purpose, her vision for this is for us to get together and kind of tell our story to help everyone, including us, to unlock some of those barriers that tend to plague women, especially. We as women have so much that we have to carry, so much that the world, that society, that our family, that our jobs require for us to process through. Yet we don't take time out to seek the support that we need. Not most of the time, not until it's too late, not until we're sitting within our home. And so my message for you today is kind of a preventative maintenance type of message. Even though I currently am doing this from my office right now because my family decided that they wanted to be sick and make it impossible for me to travel. But I'll be transparent with you. There was a moment there that I didn't want to send that message. There was a moment there that, although it was out of my control, I literally had a moment of wanting to beat myself up, feeling like I let somebody down, feeling like this is an issue that I couldn't process through because I wanted to be there so much. And so in that moment, I felt defeated. I felt as if I had lost something tremendous. Now, don't get me wrong. I would much rather be delivering this speech in front of you ladies because that's when I thrive, when I'm able to stand in with the people that I'm speaking with. Recordings for me has always kind of been the thing, but I'd rather do this than to not be there at all. But back to my story. As I was sitting in my hole and sitting in my space of questioning and regression, I recognized the feeling. And that's the key to what I'm going to talk to you about today. It's about understanding that life is going to happen. There are going to be times that you're going to make the best plan for the best outcome. And then life comes in and throws you that 1-2 punch. And things seem as if it's all lost. The key to recovering from that loss or that setback or that journey is how to recognize the symptoms. So medically, when you start to enter into a cold, flu, this COVID situation, or something even more serious, your body sends you signs. And so, what has happened in the medical industry, there's this vast database of signs that could point to a certain symptom or certain diagnosis. Emotional signs are things that we have neglected to focus on. So today we're going to talk about how to recognize your emotional symptoms that are coming on. How to recognize some of our self-sabotaging behaviors and things that we tend to throw at ourselves in anticipation that someone else is going to think bad of us. So if you take a moment and think about all of the times that you've had the feeling that you're not going to survive this. There's no way, there's no how. I'm not going to come out of this. This is it. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I'm sure each and every one of us can think of at least 3 times that you felt that symptom. So now look back on each and every one of those times and first recognize that they're in the past. So you made through what you thought you couldn't survive. You could not make it through. You are here today because you made it through. Now, instead of us celebrating the fact that we have overcome that moment, that circumstance, that barrier, what do? We focus in on the residual or the loss or the outcome of our survival of that process. We don't allow ourselves to celebrate the wins in a healthy way. I can tell you about that because I am a survivor of self-abuse. Yes, I said it. Self-abuse. I was my biggest critic. I was my biggest barrier. And every time something uncomfortable, something adverse came my way, instead of me recognizing the symptom and preparing for it, like back at the health portion, what do? You go get a medicine, you go see the doctor, you do preventative methods so that you can feel better. So what are your emotional recoveries? What are you going to focus on how to not only recognize the symptom coming on, but have a plan for how you're going to overcome this? Because once again, life is going to happen. Things are going to fall apart. There are going to be moments in your life that aren't going to go according to plan. But what you cannot stop that. But what you can do is develop a process to make it to the other side. I originally was going to have a conversation with you, talking to you about one of the lowest points that I, as a woman, felt and experienced. So I'll tell you a little bit about the story. But the reason that, honestly, my message shifted was because life hit me. And I went back into my space, into my home, and I had to remind myself of the remedies to bring myself out. So the story I want to share with you is a moment in my life that I had decided that it wasn't that I wasn't worth living. It was just that the people around me in my space, in the mindset that I was in, would be better off without me. And so it was a time after I had just recently got divorced. I had to file bankruptcy because my ex-husband had stolen all my identity and ruined my credit. And all I had was a little car. And so my bankruptcy was just trying to protect the car. But I became instantly a single mom with 3 kids. And some of you may have heard this story because this is kind of my favorite pivot point story. But long story short, I'm going through a divorce. My ex-husband's dragging me in and out of court just to drain my bank account. Didn't really want to stay married. He just wanted to punish me. And so I'm out of money. I'm depressed. The last thing that he told me when he was walking out the door was, "You're a single mom with 3 kids. You're fat. You're ugly. You're useless. And nobody will ever want you again. You'll be back to me and you'll accept whatever I give you because I'm the only thing that you have." And I know you probably in your chair right now going, "Whoo, girl, oh, he was terrible." And he was, but I didn't recognize that sign at that moment. I didn't feel like he was terrible. What you say? Yes, I believe that I was terrible. I believed it. So in this function, the one thing that I not even thought, the one thing that I knew I could rely on was I had a job. May not have no money in the bank account right now, but every 2 weeks, there's a deposit that goes in there that can help chip away at this huge debt that is piling up on me. So I'll just keep working and everything's going to be okay. Because I was raised with the mindset that hard work pays off. So I'm working hard. 2 weeks before Christmas, within the same year, about 4 or 5 months after the divorce, my manager, who was a woman, called me into the office and said, "The company is having a company-wide layoff and you are the first on the list." Okay, this is a Wednesday. She then went on to say, "So payroll runs till Friday and you don't have to come back for the next 2 days. I'll just pay you." I said, "So am I fired?" She said, "No, you're laid off." Okay, I'm an HR professional. I know the difference between terminating and lay off. So the only thing I could say to her was, "That's okay. I'll be back to work." So I went back to work for those 2 days. I was in HR. So everyone in the building had to walk through the whispers, the gossip, all of the knowledge that everybody knew that Michelle had been let go. So on that Friday, I walked past a friend of mine's desk and I put a sticky note on the desk and I said, "I've been let go. If something happens to me, please make sure my kids get to my parents." Now he didn't know what that meant. And he wasn't in there. I left it on his desk. I got in my car and I was going to drive home. And there's a bridge between downtown and the southwestern part that I lived in. And my goal was if I could just gun the car fast enough that it'll break through the bridge barriers and it'll all be over because I've already left my wishes. No more pain, no more failures, no more letting people down. Because my entire life, I felt like that I never was able to obtain any type of success because I always did something wrong. Well, as soon as I got to the bridge, my phone rang. And by habit, I answered it. And now, this is a long time ago. This is before the laws that you could talk on the cell phone. So, but I answered the phone just by habit. And that phone call got me to the other side of the bridge. I just went into autopilot. So I ended up on the other side of the bridge. By the time I got off the phone, I realized that I was past my point. So I went to the daycare, pick up the youngest, went to McDonald's. I bought 3 cheeseburgers and 2 fries. I had $4 in my purse. And so I was going to give it to the boys and I would figure something out. But I just got to get home. So I go in, bring the baby in, sit him at the table, call the other 2 boys, gave them each a cheeseburger and split the 2 fries. And as I'm walking away, my oldest son says, "Mommy, where's your food?" And I said, "Well, Mommy's on a diet." And then I went into my room, went into my bathroom. I locked the door. I sat in the dry tub and I cried. I cried. And then after I couldn't cry anymore, I still sat in that empty tub because I was too ashamed to face my kids. So reluctantly, I sat there. My kids put the baby to sleep. They put themselves to bed. And when I didn't hear any more noise outside of my room, like a coward, I sneaked out the bathroom, and sitting on the dining room table was a pizza-sized portion of a burger and 5 French fries. And there was a handwritten note in crayon on a napkin. And all it said was, "Mommy, I think I'm on a diet too." Woo! Let me tell you, it was at that moment that I understood that I couldn't have been all bad. I couldn't have been all bad because I created that baby. I delivered that baby who, without instruction, without any type of movement or push, cared enough to at least leave his mother a bite of his food. It was at that moment that I chose to live. I chose to stand up. I chose to be present in my life. I chose to stop allowing circumstances, situations, other people's opinion to remove me from the woman that I knew that I was. So I had no gas in the car. I had no job. I went down to social services. All I wanted them to do was give me food stamps. The girl told me, if you get rid of the car, then we can feed the kids. Now, had I gone the day before, that would have defeated me. But I had a new revelation. I walked out that office. I made up my mind at that moment that it was on me. It was on me. I wasn't raising 3 boys. I was raising 3 Black men. And in order for those 3 Black men to turn into the men, the powerful men that I know that they were supposed to be, then I had to be the example. And so I applied for every single job that I could. But because of my work ethic, someone from the old job called someone else at another job, and they called me and gave me a position. I tell you that story because I need you to understand that there are times that we sit in our space, we sit in our symptoms, and we look at everyone else and we believe that it's just us. Oh, she's always been successful. She's always been motivational and inspirational. No. Every last one of us has a journey. Some of us have multiple journeys. But as a woman who has gone through far more than I show, far more adversities, letdowns, no's, doors shut in my face, pain, loss. As a woman who have been through, and every time, every moment, I didn't believe that I was strong enough to make it through. But after I went through that moment, I created a plan, a fail-safe plan. The first thing that you have to remind yourself is that you're here for a reason. Your reason may not be revealed to you right now. I now can stand before millions of people and tell my stories. But during that moment, during the season that I was in the story, I didn't know the power. I didn't understand the purpose. I didn't believe that I could take some of the worst situations in my life and now be able to help other people make it through theirs. If you had told me that back then, I would have told you that you were insane. Because in the moment, in the space that I sat, I was defeated. So one, you have to know that you are here for a reason. You have a purpose. Whether you know the purpose, whether it's been revealed to you, does not mean that it is not there. Your purpose is different than her purpose, and his purpose, and my purpose. Your purpose is that divinely appointed seed that sits deep inside of you. And it's waiting on you to water it, to protect it, to treasure it. It's sitting. And once you begin to be the caretaker, the greenhouse of that divinely appointed seed, baby, let me tell you, it will begin to sprout and grow and expand into levels and opportunities that you could never humanly dream of. But you have to first know that you have a purpose. The second thing that I need you to do is I need you to stop. Stop. Take time to nurture yourself when you are in your lows. Despite popular beliefs that push through, oh girl, just get over it. Oh baby, just push through it. Despite that popular belief, that is not what you need mentally, physically, and emotionally. You got to take a pause and you got to hug and hold yourself during that space. You got to comfort yourself during that space. So stop. Stop. Do not be afraid to tell the people around you that you need a moment. Sometimes we as women drive ourselves so hard that our emotional health breaks down because our physical being is exhausted. So know the signs of when your bucket is becoming empty and stop so that it has time to build up the strength again. And the third thing, the most important thing, the one thing that you do have control over is decide. I need you to decide. I need you to decide that this is not going to be my end. This is not going to overcome me. This is not going to defeat me. This is just a step in my journey. I decide that I'm going to make it. I decide that I'm going to be okay. I decide to care for myself. You have to decide. Decide today that nothing or no one is more important than what you do for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean for you to be selfish. That doesn't mean material things. It is the care that you have to learn for yourself before you can define it for anyone else. Don't be like me and allow material or other people to define who I was. Decide for yourself. Push through. Love on yourself and know that you have a purpose. I wish I was there. I love you all. I have given to Dr. Alethea a gift for me. And she'll talk you guys through. And I want to see you guys soon. Reach out and connect with me, but enjoy and embrace the rest of this amazing conference. Be blessed, be brave, be bold, but better yet, be better. This is Dr. Michelle S. Thomas, bidding you Goodbye, but not forever. Talk soon.